तद्वत् कामयं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे तद्वत् कामयं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिं आप्नोति न कामकामी स शान्तिम् आप्नोति न कामकामी आपूर्यमाणम् अचलप्रतिष्ठम् समुद्रम् आपः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत् कामयम् प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिम् आप्नोति न कामकामी आपूर्यमाणम् अचलप्रतिष्ठम् समुद्रम् आपः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत् कामयम् प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिम् आप्नोति न कामकामी word to word आपूर्यमाणम् always filled achala pratishtam steadily situated samudram the ocean apaha water pravishanti enter yadvat as tadvat so kamaha desires yam unto me pravishanti enter sarve all saha that person shantim peace apnoti achieves na not kamakami one who desires to fulfill desires. Translation: a person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still. Can anyone achieve peace and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires? Perfect. I guess everybody can read one sentence.
Although the vast ocean is filled with water, it is always, especially during the rainy season, being filled with much more water.
But the ocean remains the same, steady. It is not agitated, nor does it cross beyond the limit of its brink.
That is also true of a person's Krishna consciousness. As long as one has the material body, the demands of the body for sense gratification will continue.
The devotee, however, is not disturbed in such desires because of his fullness. A Krishna conscious man is not in need of anything because the Lord fulfills all his material needs. Therefore, he is like the ocean, always full in himself.
Desires may come to him like the waters of the rivers that flow into the ocean, but he is steady in the activities, and he is not even slightly disturbed by desires for sense gratification.
That is the proof of Krishna conscious man, one who has lost all inclinations for material sense gratification, although the desires are present.
That will not go.
The fruitive workers, the salvationists, and also the yogis who are after the mystic powers are all unhappy because of unfulfilled desire.
But the person in Krishna consciousness is happy in the service of the Lord and he has no desire to be fulfilled. In fact, he does not even desire the liberation so called material desire. The devotees of Krishna have no material desire, and therefore they are in perfect peace.
Om Tat Sat. One more time. This sloka. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam samudram apaha pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashantim apnoti na kama kami. So, talking about the ocean, we just happened to go to Wilmington last weekend and we saw everything across on the shore of the ocean, all those apartments. It's a tiny apartment, less than 2 bedroom. Each one is $1 million. All of them. And they're just, on the seashore. So now you can imagine how confident all of us are, especially the real estate developers, when they're betting all the money and putting there. All it takes is one tile to wipe out everything, right? But why is it that they're so confident that I can bet here, no problem, I can build so much? Because they know no matter what, this ocean is not going to cross its limit. It can. It can, but they're still betting. Why? Because they're so confident it doesn't. It can, you're right.
It generally does.
Generally, it might.
Because tsunami comes,
Yeah.
it might.
But we are talking about millions of dollars,
Yeah.
not ordinary investment. The entire seacoast, if you see, in Miami, everywhere, every seacoast, that's the highest premium of every single real estate. They are
Insurance.
okay, so that is a backup plan, but that's a backup plan. But the real investor is going there first.
Mhm.
Why? Because he's so confident such a mighty ocean is not going to cross its limit.
What about tsunamis?
That's okay.
The
Those are,
rare
those are, those are very, very minute.
The rare case.
By the percentage, if you see, it's not really this factor. They've calculated, they factored that risk.
Yeah, but same thing we cannot say about the river. Because the river is there, river can outflow, but
You
ocean
don't
cannot.
ocean does.
Yeah.
And the point is, all the rivers, from wherever they are, the ultimate destination is the ocean. So Krishna is using this analogy. Why? Because no matter how much, even during the rainy seasons, the rivers are inundated, like he said, and they enter into that ocean, the ocean still remains steady. Nothing disturbs. This is the quality of a devotee who's perfected. And he's perfect in Krishna consciousness. Why? He's undisturbed. Even though, just like the ocean is always receiving river water continuously, the same way, the devotee, because he has his body, material body, all the body has demands. The senses are demanding continuously, and the desires are also coming, even for the devotee. It's not that devotee is like a stone, no feelings and nothing. No. He's also getting all those things, but he remains steady. Doesn't matter whether the situation is favorable or unfavorable, whether it is hot outside, cold outside, anything, any situation happens in a devotee's life, he maintains his Krishna consciousness. That is the secret. That's the secret here. Of course, here Krishna is talking about the perfect state of a perfect situation. And why these devotees are special? Because again, Krishna explains in the end even if they are a jnani, yogi, or a mystic yogi, uh, they are all ashanta because everybody is pursuing something in life. I want to achieve something. So, because moment you have that goal, that immediately disturbs. Why? Because while you're trying to achieve something, then either you get it or you don't get it. So the process of getting itself is anxiety. Whether will I get it, will I not get it, will I get it, not get it. And after you get it, again anxiety. Will I keep it or lose it? Will I keep it or lose it? All through, all through the entire journey of every single person, in no matter whatever you are pursuing materially, people are going through this anxiety. Today, one of the biggest Ruchi is entering into psychology, and Mataji is already there. This is the biggest demand in the market, anxiety. People are really going through that, and it is at all ages. Generally, we used to hear children means no anxiety, but now that's a specialty. Teens, teen anxiety, right? That's a big market now. Everybody is afraid of everything. So this is not normal. This is not how we are supposed to live. Yeah.
How do babies have anxiety? They don't really like use their mind as much.
Or still in the baby.
We have a specialist.
How much anxiety kids have? She is, yeah, all babies.
Babies like have temperament attachment level anxiety. So the attachment stuff doesn't exist.
Just imagine a baby is there and mommy is not around. That's all. That is enough. That's anxiety.
If a parent's not responding to the child.
That's anxiety.
The reason
Now
babies
that's not
cry-
baby cried.
Yeah,
Something he wanted, he didn't get. How much he cried?
Anxiety.
Oh, maybe not anxiety.
Okay.
He was crying.
And distress. Yeah. So you cannot. Nobody is peaceful.
I
Yeah.
want to say one point. Many people, when they come into Krishna consciousness, they read this type of slokas, and people start thinking that, all these qualities should be there in me. So this is one kind of, a little bit
Over
over
expectation.
expectation. You just started, you're in first grade, you've just entered the school, you're learning little by little, but you yourself will also have that expectation that I should be perfect. And people around us also, they have that expectation too. So this is what Krishna is talking about, like he explained just now, is for a perfected devotee.
Yes.
So Prabhupada is also telling what a perfect devotee should be.
Correct.
So we should not become distressed or have anxiety when we don't see these qualities in us. You just wait, Just like Prabhupada gives that example of a woman. When a lady gets married, she's thinking that she wants to have a baby. She has to wait. She has to get pregnant after 9 months, then the baby is born. Then she will have the baby in the arms. But she can't become, anxious from day one. Oh, when I have baby, when I have. That's not it. You have to have patience. So when we are entering into Krishna consciousness, we also should be very patient because otherwise this anxiety will again, it's not good for us. A devotee doesn't have anxiety, but we do have anxiety. All of us have. Even I'm also practicing devotee, but I'm not perfected. I'm also learning to how to be Krishna conscious. So don't have expectation too much, over expectation from ourselves, nor from somebody else, and don't become discouraged. Oh, this process is not working. Because I did not see the result, doesn't mean the process doesn't work. You need to take. It takes little time. Patience is
Prabhupada gave a very nice analogy. Like he said, for example, if you go to a hospital, what would you really see there?
disease.
Disease. All types of, not one type. So many varieties of diseases you will see, right? Then it might be very disgusting also sometimes if you really hear each person, each patient's disease, if you keep really hearing. So it could be even disgusting. But what you can be assured is that no matter what the disease is, you should know that they are under care. They are receiving treatment, they are under some specialist, and gradually and definitely they will walk out as a healthy patient, healthy person, right? The same way Prabhupada said, I have created this Krishna conscious society, a community of devotees, where when you see all of them come together, just like she said, oh, they're supposed to be perfect, but then you see so many shortcomings in every person. And there sometimes these shortcomings are prominent because actually they're practicing Krishna consciousness. When you're not practicing Krishna consciousness, when you're outside in the world, you don't see any difference at all. Oh, everything looks fine. Just like if you don't clean the driveway, you feel like, oh, it's completely fine. But moment you take your hose and start cleaning, just a small patch, then you see, oh my God, it's a lot of dirt. But if you don't clean at all, it looks fine. Like that, most people outside, nobody is trying to clean their consciousness. So, but when you come into Krishna consciousness, even little bit of chanting, then slowly you'll see all imperfections within us, which were not there before, we thought, but now they're showing. So, what you should know is that yes, even though all these shortcomings are there, we are taking a medicine. So surely it will cure, and surely we will become perfect one day. And that's the problem. But the secret is you have to keep taking the treatment. You cannot give up. You cannot give up easily. That's all. But if you stay the course, definitely you will get the results. Fair question.
We do one more shloka.
Yeah, sure. Vihaya kaman yaha
Yes.
sarvan umam charati nishpruhaha निर्ममो निरहंकारः शशान्तिम् अधिगच्छति विहाय कामान् यः सर्वान् विहाय कामान् यः सर्वान् पुमांश्चरति निःस्पृहः निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः शशान्तिम् अधिगच्छति विहाय कामान् यः सर्वान् पुमांश्चरति निःस्पृहः निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः शशान्तिम् अधिगच्छति विहाय after giving up kama all material desires for sense gratification yaha the person sarvan all puman a person charati lives nispruhaha desireless nirmamaha without a sense of proprietorship nirahankaraha without false ego saha all shantim perfect peace adhigachati attains a person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain peace, real peace. But again, everybody can read it. One more.
To become desireless means not to desire anything for sense gratification.
In other words, desire for becomes Krishna consciousness is actually desirelessness.
To understand one's actual position as the eternal servitor of Krishna without falsely claiming his material body to be oneself and without falsely claiming proprietorship over anything in the world is the perfect state of Krishna consciousness.
One who is situated in this perfect stage knows that because Krishna is the operator of everything, therefore everything must be used for the satisfaction of Krishna. Arjuna did not want to fight for his own sense of satisfaction. But when he became fully accomplished, Krishna wanted him to. For himself, there was no desire to fight, but for Krishna, the same Arjuna fought to his best ability.
Desire for the satisfaction of Krishna is really desirelessness. It is not an artificial attempt to abolish desires.
The living entity cannot be desireless or senseless, but he does have to change the quality of his desires.
Materially.
Every desireless person certainly knows that everything belongs to Krishna, and therefore he does not falsely claim proprietorship over anything.
This transcendental knowledge is based on self-realization, namely, knowing perfectly well that every living entity is the eternal part and parcel of Krishna and spiritual identity.
And therefore the eternal position of the living entity is never on the level of Krishna or greater than. This understanding of Krishna consciousness is the basic principle of real peace.
Oh, that's it. So this is another quality which Krishna is explaining for perfection, for being perfect.
How do you gain eternal peace when you're like it's like, for example, when you're studying really hard and for a test, and then like once you get a good score at the test, you're not really at peace. That kind of how this is. Like
Why are we not at peace?
you're not at peace because then you'll be stressed out for the next exam.
That's true.
So
That's exactly what I was saying before. Even though you achieved something, then still you're in stress to keep that position
Or to get even better.
or to get better.
yeah, but
You want more.
isn't this translation not the same as the example I just gave? It's like you'll be stressed for something else after you're done with Krishna consciousness, I guess.
Okay, so yeah. No, I guess I'll have to rephrase your question. So he's saying, um, if I get very good grade in a class, and then that's supposed to be the best grade, even after getting it, I'm still stressed because I don't know if I'll get that again next time.
Yeah.
So is that the same analogy he's asking? Is it the same thing?
I think if I try, tell me if I got it right. He's saying just in life when we get something, we are always anxious of losing it. For instance, is it not the same thing if I get Krishna consciousness? Should I be stressed? I'll lose it.
Is
Is
that
that-
one?
Yeah.
Or even for Krishna consciousness?
He's saying, would we feel that way? Like once we get something, we have that anxiety. If we get Krishna consciousness, would we have that anxiety that we might lose it at one point?
Is that your question?
Yeah.
It's a good
question.
Okay, if that is your question, I don't think that's his question though. But it is? Okay, great. So yeah, in that case, Prabhupada is explaining the definition of being desirelessness. So, in fact, there is nobody in this world who can actually remain in a point of what is called as desirelessness. There is not, it is not possible. Even though the mystic yogis are trying for that. The yogis are actually trying for that. They are wanting to become blank, to merge. Actually, this is one of the very famous or popular ideas. Yeah.
Or they become, are they, are they going to become desireless if they already have a desire to become desireless?
Yes. That's excellent one.
I think that is what it said.
Yes.
Yeah, very good point.
That's a very-
What he said,
He said, how can you be desirelessness if you have a desire to become desirelessness? Then itself is a desire.
oxymoron.
Very good point. That's exactly what he told. 2 minutes
That's
back.
the point. You cannot be desireless.
So then why are they trying? If they know,
Because that's also a very good question. Why are they trying even? Why are they trying even if you cannot achieve that state? Because the idea is whatever I'm experiencing right now, if this is material world and material life, spiritual life should be the opposite. That means I should not do whatever I'm doing right now because that's causing anxiety. So their idea is negate. Okay? If I'm being materialistic, my idea is that if I don't do this kind of things, all X, Y, Z, whatever, you put them all in a list and then say, don't do all that, then I will be spiritual. That's their idea.
is like doing spiritualism and like doing what we're all doing, learning about Krishna and like chanting slokas, like doing nothing basically, like as you're saying.
Yes. According to Krishna, all these activities which are connected to Krishna, towards Krishna, if you do, all those things are actually desirelessness. Even though you're doing so many activities, even though you're eating, we just ate a beautiful feast, and that is being desireless. How is it being desireless?
Because we are using our senses in the service of the Lord.
But you're desiring something.
Yeah, but I want to satisfy the Lord, and when I'm taking that as a remnants, so whatever we did, what did we do? We cooked such a nice feast, but we offered it to Krishna, and that prasad, that offering, that whatever we have offered, is what we have consumed. So it is not creating desire, even though it looks. We all have desire to serve Krishna. That is not material desire.
So once you like speak of Krishna's name and like be Krishna conscious, Krishna just purifies you of the desire.
Yes. So that becomes so Prabhupada, Krishna is giving a beautiful definition of desirelessness here. He is simply saying to become devoid of sense of proprietorship. Moment you think it is mine, it is for my pleasure, that is selfish. And moment you think it is for the pleasure of the Lord that you are doing, I am not the owner, I am not the proprietor. That's all.
Not the enjoyer.
I'm not, you just change your consciousness from me, everything belongs to me, and for me, to the idea, everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. And I am connected to the Lord and I'm doing for the Lord. So Prabhupada gave this example again, just like if you want to collect $1 million for yourself, then definitely that is selfish. So the same person, if he is working in a bank and is counting millions of dollars every single day, he has no problem with it. And in fact, the bank also awards him, rewards him because he's counting so many millions of dollars every day. The reason is not even a single dollar he's thinking belongs to me. But the day he thinks that okay, I can take a small bunch and put it in my pocket, he goes to the jail. Right? So this is the way to act in this world, like a bank manager. You deal with everything, all the matter, but all the matter, you're very clear, it doesn't belong to me. You're free from the idea, it doesn't belong to me.
So we're already in a jail, so how are we going to, if we do something wrong with this world, that's karma, right? So, how are we going into another jail? Will we like downgrade our life? Is that how,
No, jail, you're taking the literal word of jail. Jail simply means,
To be fun.
to be punished in time in terms of karmic reaction. Your action and reaction. That's the jail.
He's talking about the man who took that bundle, then he will go to jail.
If the manager
If
takes
he-
something, he
manager
did for
took the
stealing, right?
money.
So he will be kicked out of the job.
And he will also go in jail, right? So he was giving that analogy there. But what you are telling is correct. If we are doing such karma or such desires, we will get also reaction to that. You are also right in that sense.
So
Correct.
that analogy is correct. So you're in a jail. Already this body is a jail. So what more jail?
Material
you
bird
need?
is also a jail over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this has nothing to do to relate with it, but what happens if the CEO robs from his own bank company?
That's called embezzlement.
He will be going
He'll
to
be-
jail.
he'll have to go to jail. In fact, all is
It depends if it is like
depends.
public company.
It depends on what type of company it is.
And who found out how many years he was doing a lot
It's
of
called
things.
fraud.
It's called embezzlement and fraud.
Yeah, it's a fraud.
It's not-
It's got
And people do those things.
CEO is also an employee.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's not the owner.
Not the
He's not the owner.
If you have like a stake in the company, you can't do that. That's still embezzlement,
Yeah.
right?
Because you're promised to your investors, you're taking money from a lot of people. So they can, you lose trust, maybe they cannot do anything to you as the owner, if you're the owner, if that's your question. But eventually you lose all your investors. Consequences are there. Yeah.
So to summarize what you're saying, anything that is involved with Krishna is not just desireless, is not a desire, and anything that is not involved with Krishna is a desire.
Involved in your consciousness. Involved as in you are conscious that I'm doing this for Krishna. It's an emotional attachment. Just like a mother, whatever she's doing for the family. That is very prominent in her consciousness, in her mind. Even if she goes to the mall, even if she goes to buy some grocery, even if she goes to buy anything, do anything, she's always thinking how my family will benefit from this, right? Like that, if you have that consciousness all the time, I'm doing this only to please the Supreme Lord, then you're free from that reaction.
Some people
That is when you are not doing for your own desire. Correct.
Like there could be people who are like in the name of like they have that maybe they do have this consciousness, but fake consciousness of I'm doing everything for Krishna. I'm like embezzling funds, but really I'm doing it for Krishna. Breaking the traffic light, but I'm doing it for Krishna. Like I'm guessing that doesn't work like that.
Exactly. In fact, there is a name for it. There are different levels of names. One is if you are faking at different levels, of course. If you're faking, it is called sahajiyam. The whole concept of sahajiya means only for the show to gain cheap popularity that people are going to praise me. Oh, he's such a great devotee, so he will get very popular. So they do such type of things, but in the heart, they are really having all simple ideas and activities going on in their mind. Then That is a very, very downgraded life. And then there's, yeah,
So what if you actually do something like wrong in like the actual world, but for Krishna, like even if it's like wrong, but you're actually doing it for Krishna and your heart and mind is like set for that thing is like set for Krishna. Will you
That's exactly
give
the
an
thing.
example. No,
Like,
he's saying
this
something
is a
different.
bit Korean, but like I think it's the best example. Like if you rob a bank just to make like a temple for Krishna, is it considered like
Actually, very good point he brought out. So the question is, suppose he wants to do everything for God. So consciousness is very clear. He wants to rob a bank only to build a temple.
And he's just
But no. It is very valid. It's a very valid scenario. So-
Bhakta Ramadas, he did that, right?
Not just Bhakta Ramdas, all the Alvas. There are 12 Alvas who built Srirangam temple. In fact, they are actually considered empowered incarnations. That is not, no, let me clarify. These devotees are very special. These devotees are very special. They are called Parshada. Parshada means they are portions of the Lord who came for a particular purpose. They have built the largest Srirangam temple. That time, that temple was in the forest. So they actually went as devotees, they went and asked people, very rich people, to donate to build a temple, and nobody was interested to donate anything. But because they had a lot of superpowers, really, so they could actually go uh, like like a cloak you can wear and you disappear, and then you can go inside that person's house and take whatever you want. Actually, they had such type of powers, all these 12 devotees. And they built a temple called Sri Rangam today. It's one of the largest temple, but this is not meant for anybody to imitate this. This is not authorized. In fact, a devotee means one who does not even tell a lie. And a devotee means one who does not even think of inflicting pain even to an ant. So, what to speak of hurting, cheating, all these things are outside a devotee's life. So, he cannot even think, imagine, do such things. And a devotee means he's 100% dependent on the Lord. So, it is a very, yeah.
How did they know that they had those, that was their mission, that was their purpose?
They are called, like I said, they are Parshada, they're very special. Even till today, it is almost 2000 years ago we are talking about. And the Lord, Sri Rangam, the deity itself, has been worshipped by Indra, Vidura, and Vibhishan, such great personality.
Yeah, so I mean, those Parshadas you're mentioning, I think they're like beyond like this material world.
They are not
They are
exactly
so that's the reason we should not imitate
correct.
because we are still in the practicing.
Yes.
So, for example, if you like became a like pure devotee, then you are like above those rules.
No, even then, like
Even
Prabhupada,
for
for
a pure
people like pure devotee also, he could have done that. Prabhupada, for so many people ask, or in the scripture it says, a pure devotee has all the siddhis of all the yogis and everything. So they asked, so Prabhupada, can you walk on water? So of course, I can walk on. Then why don't you do that? Then Prabhupada said, the moment I walk on water, all of you will not ask, how can I become a devotee? You will ask, can you teach me how to walk on water? So that is not needed. So, yeah.
Prabhupada came to this world also to do like a mission.
Yes.
So if you like a Parshada,
He is.
He is a part.
In fact, he's also predicted in one of the scriptures too. Lord Chaitanya.
So let's say there is somebody who is doing wrong things.
Mhm.
Right? He is amassing wealth by wrong means, right?
Robbing.
By he is amassing wealth by wrong means.
Oh, amassing wealth. Yeah.
Yeah. So as well as I am devotee, can I, he is kind of the atrocious also to the public place, right? And I'm asking that we try to do something for our God, make our temple and all that. Can we do something? Can we? Is it right to rob this guy? Because I know that he's a bad guy. He's robbing everyone, right?
Mhm.
Can a devotee rob this guy?
No, no, no. We don't have any. We don't have any.
So, but
Absolutely.
it's conflicting, right? Because like. Sorry, sir, he cannot even lie.
We can, we are not in speak of.
Yeah.
No, Prabhupada told Prabhupada also wanted us to follow the rules and regulation of the world. It's not that we are above the rules and regulation.
But the guy is.
First thing-
That
That is not how we are. They are
That
not the
is-
government. We are not the police. There is a
Yeah.
law of the land to take care of that.
Yeah.
So it's not our duty as a devotee. Our duty as a devotee is different. So you can only share Krishna. You, as a devotee, you want to give Krishna to everybody.
And you can ask and beg from people or, request to people, can you give money to make a temple? You don't, neither can you force somebody, nor can you rob somebody. All those things are not allowed.
What if you're like one of the law it's like a police or like FBI or someone like that? They have a duty to like earth and yeah, to like
To catch thieves.
yeah. So and what if one of them are devotees? Are they allowed to? Do they have
Repeat his question.
So the question is, okay, if some bad guy is there, like you said, we don't have the capacity. Suppose if you are a FBI guy, if you are in the police, if you are the lawmaker or, who somebody like that, what about, and then you also are a devotee. Now can you go and rob him? Or whatever. Punish him,
Make law.
punish him.
Return the money.
Yeah.
The entire Bhagavad Gita.
So that is a very good point again. So that is one of the reasons Krishna himself is choosing such great devotees to be the rulers. If such a great devotee becomes a king or a ruler, then automatically all the citizens will become devotees, like Pandavas. With all this great Mahabharat war, so many people died. But only in 36 years, 36 short years, the entire population of earth became devotees of the Lord.
I don't get you still haven't kind of answered my question on like can we or can we not?
Of what?
Like can we
That is
can
like our duty. That is
Let me come.
like it's the police's or duty to serve the earth and like protect the country, but it's also the devotee slash police's duty to not turn them in and like
Oh, but no, Krishna
No.
said you have to go by your duty, right? He was a Kshatriya, so he's supposed to do his duty.
You have to punish as a
He's in
politician,
duty.
as a king. You are supposed to punish who did wrong.
Suppose that person is in police, he's a devotee, and he is seeing adharma or something wrong is going on, then he should
Punish.
do something to punish the wrong person.
He might have to use
He
his
has that
violence.
power, he is in that situation, he should. And the government in today's time, how soldiers are, today we are thinking only soldiers are the ones who are fighting. But lawyers are also very important people in today's world as Kshatriya. So if something adharma is going on, if somebody is a lawyer, he can also fight in the court to prove this guy is wrong. So
He
to
has to, that
upkeep
is his
the
duty. So,
Yeah.
so to connect again to your example that as a student you got good score or you didn't get good score, you are anxious. So should I stop studying? No. Should I stop getting good grades? Or should I stop attempting to get good grades? Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Giving me
So
anxiety.
that's we'll come back to that point. It's a very good point, really. So why should you even excel
Yeah.
in your studies?
to get a job, like get a good job, make for your family, make sure you're devotee, you could, if you're like a really good businessman and you want to, you're like a really good devotee, then you could like donate it to temples and, or like, you can do something good for Krishna. Yeah.
But even for all of these things, you should study because that's your duty, dharma.
Yeah, no, but main thing is that if you become a devotee, no, no. You understand. Yes, right. I think he said very
Okay,
good.
good, good,
Yeah,
good.
very good.
Very good, whatever.
He's confused. He's confused right now.
No, okay. No, all what you said is correct. All what you said is correct. But the point is of the entire topic is you should do whatever you are, whatever position you are in, do that. Whether you excel or you don't excel, you are doing it as a matter of duty. But because you are a devotee of Krishna, you are doing this as a service to Krishna. And how you connect the dots of your work is through the spiritual master, through your guru. That's how you connect it. How can I transform or make sense of my education or my job or my anything or my situation as a devotee? How am I glorifying Krishna? So that refinement or clarity will come to you.
So
that will come to you.
to answer,
But as a duty, you will be doing your duty perfectly. And while you're doing your duty, you have to know the result is never in your hand.
And you are not the proprietor.
And you are not the owner. You are not the owner of the result.
Okay, Varun also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I want to like take the example of like Prahlad Maharaj. So he was put into that, you know, in the middle of like all those
Mhm. Right.
So, and they like forced him to like study all this like economic development and all
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
people like.
So what did you do?
So it's basically like the same situation we are in, right?
Right.
So I mean he did not like study all those.
but he did
No.
become a king, you know that?
Huh?
He did
became a
become a
king.
king.
Yeah,
He didn't become a king.
He became
No, but the point is, even when he was told to go to that Gurukul with all
went.
the,
Yeah.
he went, but what did he do?
He preached.
He made all of them devotees.
Yeah.
Suppose you got a job
Mm.
because you have to make a living,
Yeah.
then what do you do with your colleagues?
Preach.
Preach. Bring them here. You go to school,
If it is
you
like
make
not
friends.
just
You
like,
go to school, you make friends. What do? You bring them here, bring them with their parents. They're here. See, that's all. You're not changing anything. You're not
Right.
stopping anything.
right, but
But
the corporate world might not like allow it. Just like
who said I have lots of corporate friends who are we are trying to preach?
Yeah.
So you can do that.
mm,
Yeah. What corporate has?
Does it have right to income?
Not allowed. He's saying
No, you don't have. No, the
People-
point
Not
is,
it can
you
be
do your work as a corporate, whatever the job you're defined as, and then you make friends, right? So those friends, you make them devotees.
Also, another thing is the main thing is see, our life is two things are simultaneously
Going on.
moving. Just like the two tracks are there on which the
Train
train
moves.
is moving. So, one is material life, one is spiritual life. As a material life, we have to do whatever our duty as a student you are doing. You have to do all those things, but don't go only in this direction. Then the train will not move only on one track. You need both. You have to make both of them move. The goal is that you have a good balanced life. The goal is that how you can become Krishna conscious. How much can you understand yourself? What is understand yourself? That I am not the body, I am spirit soul. I am the servant of the Lord. How I can serve Krishna? That is our main goal. And the material life is going to only help us in this spiritual life. This is not all in all. Yeah. Before we back to teacher. Last time we forgot it. Today we've had.
Because every time we forget all the good.
So that is only spiritual because the cake is not material, it is spiritual. I think we, I think we have,
One more shloka left for this chapter.
yeah,
and
I
it's-
think we'll do it tomorrow, next week. Very 9:15.
Yeah, it's
It actually concludes my this.
Okay, then, complete it. Then you just chant the sloka, will not repeat it then. Okay.
yeah, we won't do word by word.
This will be the last sloka of the words. So
Of the second
Of
chapter.
the second chapter.
You are all okay with it?
Yeah.
Esha Brahmi
Esha Brahmi
Stiti Partha
Sthiti Pata
Nenam
Nainam
Prapya
Prapya
Vimuhyati
Vibhukyati
Nivasyam
Nivasya
Antakalepi
Antakalepi
Brahma Nirvanam
Brahma Nirvanam
Richati
Richati
Esha Brahmi Stita Partha
Esha Sthita Pata
Nenam Prapya Vimuhyati
Nainam Prapya Vibhukyati
Divasyam Antakale Api
Antakalepi
Brahma Nirvanam Ruchati.
Brahma Nirvanam Richati.
Translation. That is the way of spiritual and godly life. After attaining which a man is not bewildered, being so situated, even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. So, the perfection, like we said, you get all the qualities. Krishna didn't explain all the qualities, some of the qualities he mentioned, and he says, this consciousness you have to maintain constantly, even at the time of death. Why death? Because that's the most fearful situation. Right now, nobody wants to even look at it or think about it. Don't talk about it. They say it's evil. It's like, oh, it's a bad thing. Don't talk about death. Why do you talk about death? You're very pessimistic. But it is as sure as death. Everybody will have to face it. And when you face it, everything is going to be shattered at that point of time. And to handle such a grave situation, it's a very intense situation. You can be easily disturbed. Like even now, somebody provokes us with small thing, very, very small thing. Hey, you look stupid. That's all. One word if somebody said, imagine how much it will disturb your conscience, what days it can bother you. How dare she can say that to me? Right? Anything, it can be any silly thing also. But now we are not talking of small, small things. We are talking about death coming and taking away everything that we have invested emotionally, hard, materially, everything, all our sweat, blood, efforts, everything is going to be taken away from you. And you can see it. Everybody can see it. And those moments, if you cannot, if you're not prepared enough, obviously you cannot maintain this consciousness of being filled with Krishna and the thoughts of the Supreme Lord at that time. So Krishna is saying, if you can maintain all through, And that final exam also, if you have the same consciousness, then you're A plus, graduate with honors. That is the perfection. So Krishna is talking about. And just like anybody who concludes a lecture, every professor will talk a small class, 1 hour. At the end of the class, the professor will conclude that summary and tell you, okay, 1 or 2 points, what is the takeaway? Like that, you'll see the 18 chapters of the Gita, every single chapter, there is a conclusion. And the conclusion is consistent and consistently similar all through the 18 chapters of the Gita if you read. All the conclusion is exactly similar, almost similar. So Krishna is not deviating from the topic. Even though he might be touching different aspects, but he'll come back to the same conclusion always. And this is one of the conclusions that you'll see. And very early on in the second chapter itself, he's coming to the conclusion, which is at the time of death, what you should do or what you should be thinking, Ante Narayan Smriti, at the time of death, if you can remember me at the time of death, you're successful. So he keeps on reminding this is a simple thing. You have a task, but the task, conclusion of the task is remember me, remember me, remember me, even at the time of death. Remember me.
And now there's a ritual, right? Like somebody dies this day, Narayana, Narayana, this year. What's the
So, see, generally, every religion has a lot of religious practices. Now, religious practices in themselves have very little significance. They are like, suppose if a baby is walking, it's like a baby walker. The religious practice itself is like a baby walker. You are holding on to it. So that your goal is not to hold on to that walker. The idea is you should learn to walk. Like that, every single religious principle has a very core thought. The core thought is that how you should become a devotee, a lover of God. So, if that religious practice, what happens, people, we are very materialistic people. So, just like suppose somebody gives you $100, nothing is right. But if somebody gives you 1,000, oh, it's better. Somebody gives you 1 million, oh, better, even better. So, like that, we are thinking if I give something to God a little, then maybe if I give 10,000 times more, maybe it is better. So, people now, there's some puja they do. So, with turmeric sticks they offer. And somebody might be offering with 2 sticks, 1 stick. That's all you're expected to offer. Basically, the idea is with love. So some people are thinking, oh, why not I offer 100,000 sticks? Thank you. Very nice worship with it. So the idea is still very materialistic. You are attracted with those riches, not the Lord. You are thinking, I can also attract the Lord with these kind of riches. No. So as long as you did not catch the essence, then that type of religion is actually waste of time.
yeah, it's not show
Also,
off, it's the conscious.
It's
but also they want to do this because they know it says in the scripture that you have to remember Narayan. So they want to tell in the ear so that that person will remember Narayan. But the guy
The
might
soul is different.
soul is not heard it
prepared.
or has not prepared. So even if you say Narayan, maybe he doesn't remember the Lord Narayan. He might remember some person Narayan who he has met, 10 years or 20 years back. Maybe your goal is that you want to remind him of the Lord Narayan. So, like that. So, these are all rituals to help. But
People
finally,
tend to do it externally.
uh,
So they are called niyamagraha. Like before Ruchi was asking, no, a point. Yeah. So niyamagraha means one who only are focused overly into the external uh, procedures external procedures without knowing the intent. Without knowing the intent, they are called niyamagraha.
We have to move.
So
Forward-
niyamagraha
forward there,
is
actually.
niyamagraha is one of the
See, wait.
niyamagraha's tendency is, if because they have never understood the philosophy deeply, their tendency is to fight. Like before there was a conversation going on, these people, some Hindus or some Muslims, they were trying to, fight amongst each other for some whatever they believe, others did not believe in that. So we'll go and fight. That is a very typical nature of a person who has never understood anything beyond the ritual. They are called niyamagraha. So both the persons who are fighting on both the camps, if they are fighting, that means both are niyamagraha. They're sentimentalists. They've never understood philosophy.
Deep. They need to understand deep the reason why you're doing.
But then, what if they're trying to prove justice, like in Mahabharata when they were about to fight each other? You're saying that you have to fight because that's justice is needed.
That's, I think that's
So,
serving Krishna.
That is under the guidance of.
Direction of Krishna.
That is.
In fact, Arjuna was not ready to fight.
That's what in one of the Prabhupada is telling.
Then he said that should always be put first.
Yeah, so that type of system we don't have really in this present modern day world. That's why we don't have to worry about fixing the society because it's all completely messed up.
The fight over every country stands to their Lord. They could be thinking, oh, I'm just trying to prove that that mine is right and that my Lord would also want me to do that.
Yeah, that is why we don't have follow like that unless you are authorized by the Supreme Lord. There is nobody who can do that, and there is nobody who is in that position. That's exactly why all the confusion in the world is happening. Everybody, in the name of God, they are doing this.
My God is great, your God is less. But actually, God is only one. Whether you call it God, Allah, or Krishna,
So
actually,
you
that is
cannot
one
do
person.
that. You cannot do that in the name of God. In the name of God, if you are saying you're in the name of God, I'm doing the work, then you will not engage in violence.
Lord,
Personally.
Yes. Otherwise, no.
Coming back to my question, like that, sentimentally or ritualistically, like you're doing certain things, is it even helpful? Like without the consciousness?
No, it is helpful at one level, at a very fundamental level, but one should graduate from that situation. It should not remain there.
I think if that happens, like in the next life,
Why you want to wait for next life?
I mean, I'm not that life. Obviously, there will be next life after that. Talking about the Narayana. So, with that help to
That's
get
so-
that soul to
Yeah, definitely. Krishna says, even Salpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato payam. Definitely you'll get one more human life for that reason.
for just saying
For just saying that. Yeah. Yeah.
So if both sides aren't like like you said, they don't know anything beyond the ritual, just practicing the ritual.
Uh-huh.
What if there is some occasion where one party is really doing something that is not good? Like let's say there's some invasion that happened, right? That is where they did something really wrong. Nothing, the other party has tried everything, copying that. They're only left with one option for that problem. Is that right? In a way?
We are talking about, I mean, I don't know the scenario, the whole scenario that you presented, but we are talking in a situation where we as an individual soul, how we can get the benefit right away and save our soul first. So that's the case we are talking about. We are not talking about a case where you want to go out and protect a community or you're protecting a country. That could be a different reason. I mean, we don't want to
You have to take yourself.
first. Yeah, exactly. So he probably gave a nice example. Sometimes somebody is drowning in the ocean and you will not ask if somebody is throwing a lifeboat or something. You will not ask, first explain to me, why am I drowning? You will not ask that question. First, you take that help, come out, and then see the reason. Okay, why in the first place did we fall?
That will probably, before changing the society, we need to change.
Ourselves. Ourselves.
Like in movies, they show like two guys fighting. They're on the top of, they're both going to die, but then they'll still be fighting, right? But they should get to safety and then fight. So go to the safe place and then fight. And then, yeah, and then fight.
Yeah, can we just summarize both the chapters, like what we learned out of it, just to refresh our, I know, I still have my memory of chapter one, but just.
Yeah, it's a lot of topics, but just to summarize, I mean,
Before we learn from chapter one,
yeah,
selflessness,
yeah,
tolerance, equanimity,
equanimity,
I love this topic.
No,
tolerance.
not these things.
No,
First
it's
chapter-
it's the ending of the first chapter, beginning.
No,
He's
first-
talking about ending of Karma Yoga.
Karma Yoga in China. In the first chapter, only Arjun is talking. In the first chapter, Krishna doesn't open his mouth. He's just hearing.
So when you
that
came,
Arjun
that
is-
we just finished Karma Yoga.
Yeah, we were starting second chapter. We were on the.
That was in second chapter only. One of the topic was Karma Yoga.
We-
You finished Karma Yoga, that's when you came.
Yeah.
But then you got the essence of that. That's correct.
And from second chapter, one of the takeaway is that we're not this body, we are soul, and this soul cannot be destroyed.
Yes.
And I think the rest is equanimity, proprietorship, leave that agency and the doership and proprietorship,
Yeah.
and stay equanimous. Don't be too happy in happiness, don't be too distressed in distress,
Yeah.
and stay steadfast. And remember that I'm just an actor in this whole play. I'm not a doer. I'm not a doer, and the outcome does not belong to me. Again, we are just enforcing that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
theoretically for
Theoretically.
now.
Yeah.
Is, you know what, you have to remind yourself every time, every day, sometimes many times in a day.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that at some point it will get ingrained.
We will continue the class.
You bring it.
Another-
We will
We'll cut the cake here.
Yeah.
The kids want you to cut the cake.
Yeah, bring
Us to cut the cake.
Yeah, they didn't have to say.
No,
No, it's not, it's a personal gift. But what happened, he is teaching him all Krishna.
Okay, you want to do it? Bhagavad Gita part.
Yeah. We wanted a summary actually. Next.
So just chant Hare Krishna and cut the cake. We can just chant Hare Krishna all the
Happy
time.
anniversary.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna.
Krishna Krishna, Krishna